Greetings, Guardians, my name is Bife here. So, the trailer for Heresy just dropped, and so I have some notes in front of me, and, well, we're going to go ahead and look through the trailer. As per usual, you can expect it to be paused at the keyframes we're going to be talking about, but for the moment, let's just go ahead and let it play.
Something is stirring in the hive, as it is in the Taken.
First up here, you can see that the Dreadnought is back, and it is very much changed. As we saw from the key art and from the reveal stream of the Nether activity, there are tentacle growths all over this thing. We've seen them earlier, but for the moment, to the best of my knowledge, unless someone has found more than me, which is possible, the origin of these tentacles are unknown.
On the Dreadnought.
Here we see what looks like a cutscene involving Eris and the Drifter, and we'll see it throughout the trailer a few times. Back to back in the Court of Oryx, the way deeper into the throne world, they appear to be fighting off against some Dread and some Taken. In particular, we'll also see the Dread Subjugator.
Something's wrong.
I don't know anything about these eyes, but we keep seeing them everywhere. They're not quite like Acolyte eyes, even though they look the same. They appear taken in nature, but apparently they belong to someone, and that's because they're not just these blank shooting turrets. Well, yeah, they have actual eyes in them, irises that are looking and watching over the worlds. Who knows, they could belong to Oryx, but perhaps they belong to someone else. This appears to be the Subjugator who boarded the Dreadnought in search of the Echo. They are, as of yet, unknown to us, and what will happen to them in the story, or what their intents really are with the Echo, is unknown.
Has the Taken King returned?
This appears to be another early look at a cinematic that we'll see within the episode. This seems to imply that Oryx himself has received the power of the Echo somehow, perhaps because of it slamming into his throne world, the Dreadnought. His resurrection, in some manner, even if it's just in spirit, is the likely outcome of all of this. And that implies that that resurrection is the heresy at the heart of this episode. Although I could be wrong, there could be more to this.
You do pursue my power, Lightbearer. My weapon. My throne. My Dreadnought tests you, Guardian Knife.
And there it is. Glorious, isn't it? For the first time in years, we hear the voice of Oryx the Taken King again. The voice actor is different, but the voice is no less powerful. It feels appropriately dark and regal. Oryx also reveals some major notes about what we're potentially doing this season. He says, "You pursue my power, Lightbearer, my weapon, my throne. My Dreadnought test you, Guardian Knife." This is a reference to the old Grimoire cards of the Books of Sorrow, and also the Taken Grimoire cards. This is where Oryx would describe those who had been taken, or those who pursued the purpose of darkness, as knives. The old references of the Books of Sorrow also prominently feature knives as a metaphor for how the hive should sharpen themselves to make the universe more perfect, as well as themselves more perfect. It references the way that things are made sharper by the sword logic, and that ultimately those sharp things will inherit the universe. If we're to inherit Oryx's Dreadnought, we're going to have to take some of his power and become sharp as well. Skipping back a little bit through the speech, we can see this area is a part of the Dreadnought around the entrance to the Court of Oryx. This is somewhere we'll probably be going in the story missions of Heresy, but also it's somewhere we go within the Nether. Something might be important here, worth of exploring. It's where the power source for Oryx's weapon could be located, and it is of course at the entrance to the heart of Oryx's true throne world, where his domain really lies.
My weapon. My throne.
Here we see Guardians stepping into a Taken realm within the Dreadnought. Something we've not really seen much of up until this point. It's a mystery what we'll be doing here, how we'll be getting here, and how we open that portal in the first place. However, a Taken dimension within the Dreadnought is bound to matter. They aren't there for no reason. These spaces are built up. We also see a glaive here, which might matter for attached lore reasons. Glaives, of course, have links to both Rulk, who initiated the practice of giving every disciple of the Witness a glaive. The fact that one of these glaives is also clearly part of the heretical arsenal leads me to the possibility that it might have a very interesting lore tab implying further relations between the Hive and the Witness. Of course, this is all to be seen, and it could just be something which is a nice piece of loot with other bits and pieces to its lore. This wizard here might be a distant relation of Oryx. It looks like they are Hash-Ladun, the daughter of Crota, Oryx's granddaughter. Her siblings did at one point use a ritual within the Pit of Heresy in a somewhat dim-witted attempt to resurrect Oryx by embodying him, just in the same way that he resurrected Xivu Arath and Savathun by respectively embodying war and trickery. Those sisters that attempted this ritual are known as Kinox and Voshir, and they were unsuccessful, and I believe they were killed by Osiris before he lost his light. Whether this is Hash-Ladun or not, we don't know, but it is worth remembering that if she is there, she's been resurrected too. We killed her during the Shadowkeep campaign in the Scarlet Keep strike, and from her we acquired information that led us to the Cryptolith, guarded by the fourth of Crota's major daughters, Besurith. All of this, of course, is to say that if she is here, we don't know why she's here and what she wants. And of course, this could just be the same wizard model, but it is also one of those moments where it's in the same red regalia of the Scarlet Keep. So who knows? Maybe it's something where she is being brought back too, and Oryx's entire family is sort of being dredged up. Sort of leads to the conclusion that maybe Crota isn't so dead either. Who knows?
We need to get Eris out of here!
In this scene that I mentioned earlier, it appears that Eris and the Drifter get attacked by the Taken and by the Subjugator. Expect this story cutscene to be important, especially as a few later frames show Eris and the Drifter both getting badly beaten up, and even the Drifter swan diving down into the deeper reaches of the Dreadnought. I have no idea what's going on with those swords, but they are massive, and the area I do recognize. This is absolutely the entrance that was made in the side of the Dreadnought by the crash of a Cabal vessel, the Dantalian Exodus 6. It's where our initial Dreadnought landing zone ended up being. Whether the ship remains or not is yet to be seen. It may have been overtaken by Hive Chiton and other things. Those massive swords are probably being conjured by powerful Hive magics, perhaps conducted by Oryx himself.
Invite the horror in.
This scene is something that I think I might recognize, but it doesn't quite make sense. It shows the smaller and weaker Krill iterations of the three Hive gods, when they were Orash, Sathona, and Shiro. However, it appears that they then begin fighting, and one of them claims dominance over the other two. This is actually something that's happened before, but later in their lives. When he was still called Alrix, Oryx used a moment like this to kill Savathun and Xivu Arath, just before going on to murder Akka, the Worm of Secrets, steal from his corpse the secret of how to take, and then become the Taken King. I still don't quite know whether this is what's meant to be portrayed in this moment. The timelines don't match up. Maybe it's something else.
Hold it close. Reach into the unknown.
Here we see another moment in that cutscene where it looks like the echo is being placed somehow into Oryx's chest. And I wanted to bring up at this point that Oryx's body previously was on Titan because it was dredged into the, well, disappearing domain of darkness that initially abducted Titan. And when it was sent back, it turned out that Oryx's body had fallen to the sea floor and had then been discovered by the Lucent Hive. This, after we had secured it in the Ghosts of the Deep dungeon, was retrieved by the Hidden, and it appears that, well, maybe there's more to it. I don't know if this is the literal body of Oryx, or just a portrayal of his spirit. However, the echo slamming into the Dreadnought then perhaps would have stirred Oryx's spirit, and led to it having been resurrected here, as opposed to seeing his entire body also being brought back. Remember, there's two things about this that are kind of important. Oryx would not approve of resurrection in this manner. It's not the same as using a throne world to cheat death. And also, it's worth remembering that his body, which is, as best we know, still in Vanguard custody, held signs of still active Taken energy. Maybe Oryx is still alive even within his body. So, yeah, it's not clear if he ever truly died. This might become a relevant detail if we need to go further into depth as things go on.
And prepare for it to reach back.
In this last moment here before Oryx slams down his sword, we can actually see something remarkable. This is the first time within the lore that we have seen all three major Hive gods outside of an Inkblot cutscene, and it is our first good look at all of them, including Oryx the Taken King at the center, Savathun the Witch Queen on the left, and for the first time, Xivu Arath, the Hive God of War, on the right. And of course, there is what's in the middle, which is still important. It looks as though there's a figure there. I imagine it might be Eris and maybe someone else. Us, the Drifter, Sloane, who knows who it could be. But it does appear that also this area is somewhere which I can point us to again. It's found in the Altar of Oryx. It's the location where we fought the Taken King and first defeated him in the Taken King campaign. This is not the final area of the raid, mind you. It's where we killed him in the campaign. So, why is he attacking? Why is he slamming down a sword into that area? Well, probably revenge. But I don't know. We'll have to figure out and see. Heresies incoming, and honestly, this trailer has a lot more interesting bits to bite at than I thought we were going to actually see. There's still a lot that's being held close to the chest, but let's go ahead and see what happens. Hopefully a Hive season yet again is something that starts to untangle Destiny's narrative. With all that being said though, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like and leave your own thoughts down below in the comments section. And of course, if you want more lore from worlds near and far, go ahead and hit subscribe and the bell next to subscribe to turn on those email notifications. But as per usual, your viewership is quite enough for me. And in the meantime, my name is Bife. Parodacia Arastra. I'll see you, Starside.